Frankly, I think that's probably the more material story because both the Afghanistan, Taliban and Pakistan could be on the brink of war, if not already at war, because on the 25th of November, Afghanistan accused Pakistani forces of launching both aerial and drone strikes inside Afghan territory, particularly in the eastern provinces. The allegation is at least 10 civilians have been killed in those air attacks. Pakistan's military immediately denied targeting civilians, saying that its operations were aimed at terrorists of the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP. But Kabul is looking for retribution and has vowed that it will retaliate. Will this spiral now into a full-blown war between these two countries? Here's what has happened so far in these last 3 or 4 days and why this could potentially blow up into another big conflict in South Asia.
Tensions flared between Afghanistan and Pakistan, with the Taliban accusing Pakistani forces of deadly airstrikes in eastern Afghanistan, which killed 9 children. The bombardment followed a series of recent attacks in Pakistan by militants that Islamabad said came from Afghanistan. Last month, dozens of people were killed in fighting between the South Asian neighbours. It was their deadliest confrontation since the Afghan Taliban seized power in Kabul in 2021. Islamabad said its patience had snapped after an upsurge in attacks since the 2021 takeover by Pakistani militants based in Afghanistan. The Taliban administration in Afghanistan denies this and says they do not allow Afghan soil to be used against other countries. Both sides struck each other and claim to have inflicted the most damage. Among Pakistan's targets, according to security officials, was the head of the Pakistani Taliban militant group. It is not clear if he survived. A group called Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan was formed in 2007 by Pashtun jihadist groups, adopting al-Qaeda's radical ideology. It has carried out major attacks across Pakistan, fought alongside Afghan Taliban, and now mainly targets Pakistani security forces. Pakistan initially welcomed the Taliban's 2021 return, but now accuses them of sheltering TTP leaders, as well as separatists, Baloch insurgents in Afghanistan. A ceasefire was signed in Doha in October, but negotiations ended without a long-term deal after Kabul failed to commit to action against militants sought by Islamabad. The Afghan Taliban says it cannot be expected to guarantee security in Pakistan. Pakistan also says India, its long-standing adversary, is working with Afghanistan to support the militants. New Delhi denies the claim.
Now, the biggest problem between these two Islamic countries, Muslim-majority countries, is the Durand Line. It's a British-drawn line. Afghanistan rejects this 2,640-kilometer border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. This was established in 1893 by Sir Mortimer Durand of the British Indian government at that time and Amir Abdur Rahman Khan of Afghanistan. However, the Durand Line cuts through large parts of Pashtun homelands and a bigger part of Pashtun-speaking areas which lie in Pakistan. So the Pashtuns have been divided right down the middle through this Durand Line. This division of the Pashtun people and their communities has made it a source of long-standing tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan. In fact, every year, up to 1 million refugees cross over either from Afghanistan into Pakistan, or when the weather gets better, then they cross back into Afghanistan. And this whole refugee problem has also been a sticking point between these two countries many times in the past as well. I want to go across to Sushant Sareen, who's joining us. So this is, again, the other big story, perhaps even the bigger story than Imran Khan, this tensions between Taliban and the Pakistan army. It was brewing for a while now. There are now reports of heavy artillery being moved to about 5 or 6 locations along the Durand Line. What do you think the next step will be? Will there be a full-blown war between the Taliban and Pakistan?
Look, in a manner of speaking, they're already in a state of war. Virtually they've all border movement has stopped, trade has stopped. The Pakistanis are trying to strangulate the Taliban government in Afghanistan to try and show to them the kind of power and leverages they hold. There is openly talk inside Pakistan of orchestrating another regime change, which means pitting Afghanistan into yet another civil war. So all of this is happening. Within Afghanistan, the sentiment against Pakistan has reached a peak. Now, will this become an open kind of a war where one state invades the other one? I don't know. Maybe I hope that the Pakistanis try it. They will then learn the limits of their own power. They're prancing around the world, acting as though they're some kind of a regional superpower, and the most powerful state in the Islamic world. I think they'll get their comeuppance if they were to try something as stupid as that. Maybe I don't think even the Pakistani Punjabi generals are that stupid, but who knows? Stupidity is limitless, really. So there is that possibility, but I would imagine that the relationship would remain extremely tense. The Pakistanis, even if they have to carry out punitive raids inside Afghanistan because they blame the Afghan government for TTP, but TTP is present inside Pakistan.
Yeah.
All these insurgent groups have their bases inside Pakistan, and there's enough evidence to suggest that they're operating pretty much freely. For example, in southern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the state's writ has stopped running. You don't have to take my word for it. Somebody who is from that region, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, has said it on a number of occasions that the state's writ simply does not run in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or large parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, anyways. And that is on the Pakistani military, that is on the Pakistani security services on why such a situation obtains out there, even if supposing something was coming from Afghanistan. What prevents them from controlling it in their own territory? And they haven't been able to do it. So it's a very, very tense situation between the two countries. But my own sense is that I don't think they'll openly declare war, but it will be a warlike situation. It's a very tense and hostile border, and there'll be cross border raids from both sides.
Okay, Sushant, thanks for joining us.